Disenfranchised grief is grief that not a lot of people understand. I think the biggest way this comes up in pet loss is the idea of, oh, it's just a dog or it's just a cat. It's not. It's your family member. It's someone you loved deeply and who cared for you and you cared for them. So being able to find someone who understands how important that bond for you was, and the disenfranchised part of that grief is that not everyone will understand that if they don't have their own relationships with pets sometimes.
We give a lot of grace and understanding to people when they lose a human being that's close to them, a loved one, but we don't always extend the same regard for people who have lost pets. People don't often have the luxury of taking time off of work, and talking about it sometimes feels like, oh, I don't deserve to be sad about this because it was just an animal, and they have had a very special relationship with their pet, and just because they're an animal, it does not negate that was a special connection.
Disenfranchised grief is grief that is not recognized by others. However, your grieving doesn't fit in with society's norms. It fits in with pet loss because there are a lot of people out in the world that don't own pets, have never owned pets. So when they hear that someone's pet has died, sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, it's just a pet, or get another one. That's not what we like to say to people.
It can feel like replacing the previous pet when they're really irreplaceable. So just following that person's lead on when they're ready for a new pet.
While well-intended, if I were to say, I understand exactly how you feel, that minimizes the uniqueness that that person has with their pet, and also takes the focus off of the person who's experiencing the loss.
When supporting a loved one who lost a pet, I think just being present, providing an outlet for that individual to feel heard, for that individual to feel validated, for that individual to have someone to process these emotions with, to reminisce, to engage in life reviews, whatever that looks like, but by having that outlet there to support someone, so as they are experiencing these extreme feelings of loss, sadness, grief, that they have someone to rely on and they have someone to process that with.
Some people handle grief differently, so sometimes people want space, sometimes people want to be surrounded by people that also loved their animal. If somebody feels like they're isolating away from family members, sometimes that's what they need, but doing just check-ins just to see how they're doing can really go a long way.
Letting someone feel the way that they need to feel, even if it's a little uncomfortable for us, is the best thing we can do. We can't rush people through grief. You can sit with somebody and ask them questions. Tell me more about your pet. Let them reminisce. Ask to see pictures and videos. And if somebody wants to not think about it for a while too, ask if they want a distraction to go to a movie or go out and take a walk. And let that person decide whether they want to be distracted or they want to be in the moment of loss.
Pet loss grief isn't just pet death. Sometimes it can be having to rehome a pet. Sometimes it can be in a relationship separation, such as a divorce or a breakup, where you might lose that pet that you own jointly together. Sometimes it's a pet running away and just that uncertainty of not knowing what's happened to them. I think in all of those cases, knowing that they're still alive and out there, but being uncertain about exactly how they're doing can be really hard, and it can be really hard to get closure in those situations as well.
You can feel loss as your pet ages and you're no longer able to go on runs or long walks or walks at all. At the end of the life, you can have anticipatory grief.
Pets that might have some form of terminal illness, so if they've been diagnosed with cancer and are going through a treatment process, we are creating a little bit more time. And that's when the idea of anticipatory grief comes in, because we know that ultimately down the line, whether it's a few weeks, a few months, a few years in some cases, but that is very much going to be the reality. Those might be the situations where we could expect to feel those feelings.